Hi, this is Warren Buckleitner, and yesterday I gave a presentation at FETC in Florida. It was called the Ratings Game, and I used the session as a way to introduce the CTREX quality attribute system. So for those of you interested in ratings and the science and art of putting star ratings and grades and so on interactive media, this session is for you. So I started out by showing a group of apps, and I asked the audience which is best, and I had them write down their own attributes of quality on a sticky note, and I collected them. But what we learned was that we all share things like ease of use and quality illustrations and quality sounds and so on. So that was sort of the point of this, that if you rate things, such as beer, for example, that each person will have their own idea of what is quality. If you have ever been around a craft brew enthusiast, you know that they have some very high standards. We make sort of a joke about this, and we say that, well, it's Children's Technology Review, we use the Apple meter to assign our ratings. I mean, wouldn't it be great if you could just shine this meter at any app icon and it would generate a rating? Now, the problem, of course, is that it's really complicated to give ratings and assign awards. There are also a lot of other folks out there who are giving awards and assigning ratings. And the problem that I see is that interactive media is a messy mashup of hardware, code, psychology, and cultural bias. And just like an IQ score, with children, you can't just slap a 1 to 5 star rating or an award seal. And the space is plagued by award systems and various seals that really are unjuried, and there's not a lot of science behind it. Many are profit schemes. To make this point about how diverse technology is, I had the participants watch this video of MediaTek. And you can see in this picture here that there are many types of technologies that the children use these days. It's not just the screen. There are robots, there are video games, there are technology toys like Simon, and all of these things were illustrated in this video. And so that was the first point, is there's a lot of technology. When you look at that ink blot, some people see good things, some people see bad things, and Herman Rorschach was a pioneer in sort of helping people understand what was going on inside their heads. The modern day Rorschach test is a screen or a piece of interactive media. Everybody sees a different thing. And there's a classic problem of the blind people and the elephant. One person will think an elephant is a tail, and the other person will think the trunk, and another person might think that an elephant is the thin skin of the ears. Everybody sees different things. Like you might see flashcards, you might see a camera, and so on. And a while back, I started talking about code as an artifact of culture. So just like a hammer is a tool that was forged by years of development and evolution and thinking, code, which might become an app or a video game, is a tool, and with that comes ethnic and gender bias that's baked into it. It's also somebody's idea of best practice. You may agree or disagree of that. There's also an interaction style with code, and that interaction style is sometimes more open and constructivist. It could be more closed and behaviorist. Neither is right or wrong, but this has to be considered when you assign ratings. The solution to all of this mess in randomness and fog are quality attributes. Quality attributes are specific items that can be combined, mixed, and matched in rubrics. When used by an unbiased and experienced reviewer, they can help you solve the ratings challenge. So if you go back to the beer, if you come into this with a set of quality attributes such as clarity or aftertaste, or I don't know because I'm not a beer snob, you can use a rubric that is designed specifically to measure one attribute, and you can get better quantitative outcomes. The same is for pizza, and this pizza is a real Bolognese pizza, and I ate that pizza. Now, you obviously, I've heard very in-depth discussions about the crust of the pizza and the chewiness and so on. Quality attributes will help you cut through that. Same with hamburgers. So, we had a brainstorm on quality attributes for apps. We also talked about how different educational and learning philosophies will influence what you come out with. And we talked about how every theory finds a champion in technology and made the point that neither or both are correct. We skipped through one of my favorite slides, which I always show, and moved on to the quality attributes. Now, the reason I'm so excited about the quality attributes is you can actually see these now on at childrenstech.com. You don't need to be logged in as a subscriber, and you can experiment with this. And the idea is that you start the process of a review by checking which of these attributes you actually want. There are many more in the works. There could be hundreds, there could be thousands. But the point is that you can create a rubric with even just one item. So that means that in theory, because this is a flex rubric, you could create a system to measure only one specific thing, such as gender bias. And you could look through a body of products and just look at whether the lead character is male or female. And then you could look for gender stereotyping kinds of activity and flag that and identify that. And if you want to rate it and give it a good or a bad, you could do that. The flex rubric combined with these quality attributes is a very powerful tool, and it lets you give more accurate quantitative ratings on any interactive product. These sliders here are very important because you can notch up and down both the weight, that's the importance, and the rating itself. And you can see dynamically the percentage, the grade, and the star rating change as you move it up or down. So I looked specifically at the ethics, and internally we call this the good and evil quality attribute. And that's because a lot of products use some form of in-app purchase and so on, and sometimes they trick a child. And no, that's not to say this is a completely evil thing, because these products have to be monetized, and we understand that. So if you had looked under the descriptor of this particular ethical quality attribute, you'd see all this information to help you understand what we mean by ethical, how we define it. And you see down at the bottom there's high, medium, or low, and these are descriptors that can help you zoom in on just exactly what ethical means. In all of this, civil debate helps, and that is when a group of experts gets together and looks at the same screen and talks about what exactly is it we're talking about. Now, we've been able to replicate this physical meeting in the database. If you click on the Experts tab up at the top, you'll see a group of experts on CTREX that each provide a different point of view on specific products. These experts have content knowledge, or they may be interactive experts, and they'll each disclose any kind of bias that they might have, and they can weigh in on products. Now, of course, their Achilles heel of Flex Rubrics is that there is no reliability between different products. If you're measuring one product using a very specific kind of rubric, you'll get a different outcome. And so we also evaluate every product that comes in using a generic rubric, and I talked about that. Now, you can see the generic rubric if you go into the rubrics. That lets you compare apples and apples. So the case study here is My Very Hungry Caterpillar app, and I did a demo here of some first attempts at using Eric Carl's work in The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and they were very low in quality. They scored very low in responsivity and all of the attributes that we look for. And then along came another app called My Very Hungry Caterpillar, and that starts with an egg, and the child taps on the egg, and because of the high control, it gets a very high rating. So I talked a little bit about how these kinds of generic attributes contribute to higher ratings, and how these generic attributes are ease of use, education, entertaining, the various features, and the cost, and how it takes about a year of rating products and getting quite experienced with maybe up to 100 different apps or products before you can get reliable on this with me and other seasoned reviewers. This generic instrument helps us, and this is what's used to publish the ratings, the CTREX ratings. So that was my talk, and I hope it provides you with a little bit more background on how we come up with the tricky task of assigning ratings to products. And I invite you to join on CTREX. It's a closed community in that you have to be a paid subscriber in order to get a profile, and that lets you create rubrics, save rubrics, and give ratings. We really hope that you'll start weighing in and contributing to this community, and it's our attempt to help make this space a better one for children. Thanks for watching.